Hi guys, I'm Steph. I have bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features and mixed episodes if you're new here. I got that diagnosis around 7 years ago, so I lived the majority of my life not on medication and I suffered immensely because of it. So this channel is about advocating for medication, and I want to help people who have a loved one with bipolar better understand their loved one perhaps. And if you have bipolar and you're like me, I hope this makes you feel less alone. And if you can relate, please leave a comment because it makes me feel less alone. And it also helps anybody who's coming to the channel who maybe doesn't feel comfortable commenting. They might see your comment and it might make them feel better. So in today's video, I want to talk to you about some really weird feelings that I had about something that happened, about a traumatic experience that happened recently. Some of you guys know because I made a post about it, but my mother-in-law passed away and we were pretty close. My husband and I would go over to her house every Sunday, and she would make dinner, and she wouldn't ask us to do anything. She wanted to do everything, and she would make an entirely separate meal for me and my husband because we're vegan, and she just was a really, really good mom, like a really good mom. And so she got sick. Her and my father-in-law went on a trip. They went to like Portugal and some other countries, and they came back, and they came back with some kind of bug. And we found out that through my brother-in-law that everybody had sickness, like her Jeff's dad was sick, Jeff's mom, and then Jeff's brother. They had all gotten this illness. Anyway, she has an underlying autoimmune disease called myophilia gravis. So it affected her much, much worse. So we're sitting around one night, and Jeff calls his brother to see, hey, how's mom and dad doing? And he says, not good, that Amy's in ICU. And so we're like, what the hell? Where did this come from? What's going on? And so we go to the hospital to see her, and walk in, and she's got the breathing tube down her throat. She's on a ventilator. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody in condition like that, but it's a really horrible sight. And so after seeing her with the breathing tube down her throat and spending some time with her, we decided that we were going to go every single day until she got out. And it would seem like that she would take a step forward and then take 2 steps back. And I started grieving her before she was even gone, because I just saw it coming, and I really knew the day before she passed. I really knew, because I was at the hospital and she had to communicate via pen and paper. And I do want to say this though, the one special thing was that on Mother's Day, they took the breathing tube out for her, and she just had the oxygen things in her nose. And so we got to spend a little bit of time with her. We watched Aquila and the Bee, and we spent some time with her until she was tired and wanted to go to sleep. But the day before she passed, I was sitting in the hospital room and looking at all the papers because she was writing to communicate, and all the papers from the week were there, and her handwriting's perfect, and then the next paper it's kind of messy, and the next paper it's a little bit worse, and then by the last page there's no handwriting at all. It's just a scribble. And I thought, how's she ever going to get out of this? And then the next day, Jeff wakes up, we wake up, and Jeff looks at his phone and says, Mom died. And it was so shocking. It's just so shocking. It just completely came out of nowhere. And so with my bipolar, one thing that was beneficial in this particular point in time was that my husband had told me to schedule my phone to be on silent during certain hours. So he did that for me, to make sure that I wasn't getting phone calls late at night. And for whatever reason, his phone didn't notice it ring, or the ringer was off, or whatever reason. And so in the middle of the night, about 1:30 in the morning, when she passed away, we did not receive the phone call. So Jeff didn't know until the following morning that she had passed away, which ended up being a good thing. And the reason why I say that is because if we would have answered the phone at 1:30 in the morning, we would have gone straight to the hospital. And if we would have been at the by the time we got to the hospital, she would have been gone already. And she was gone by the time my father-in-law got there and my brother and sister-in-law got there. She was already gone. But had we been awake and gone to the hospital after she was already gone, I would have been awake the entire night, and that would have sent me into a tailspin, because that would have kicked off the mania with all that stress. So it's a good thing that I had my ringer off. It's a good thing that we didn't know until the next day. But this was so unexpected and so triggering. And, you know, I thought I was dealing with it okay, other than the next, because when Jeff got the text the next day that Amy had passed, we all went to Jeff's dad's house, all the family, and we were all over there together, and discussed whether there should be an autopsy or not. We were just kind of all together at his dad's house. And I kept falling apart, like every 10 seconds falling apart. So, excuse me. So, my brother-in-law says to me, "Are you okay, Steph? Do you have someone to talk to?" And it came from a place of caring, came from a really beautiful place. But I appreciated it, but I also felt alienated, and I felt like, God, do you have someone to talk to? You know, like, but it came from a place of caring. But I wanted to bring that up because I wanted people to maybe understand, or maybe you can relate, that we're so sensitive about having bipolar disorder for several reasons. One being it's so stigmatized and that most people don't understand it, that even when somebody says something that's really caring and really like just trying to be supportive, it can sting. And that's kind of what happened in this situation. But really, like, there was such a bigger thing going on, that my mother-in-law had passed. That was the issue. That was what was upsetting. So I really didn't have a lot of time to get upset about somebody caring about me enough to ask if I'm okay and whether I have a counselor or not. But I did want to bring that up. So I felt like I was managing this okay. I felt like I was dealing with it okay. I was grieving, and so I did already have an appointment with my psychiatrist, like, I don't know, like a week later. And when I talked to my psychiatrist, I told her, you know, I'm actually doing okay. I'm not as bad as I thought I would be, because I definitely thought when she passed, I thought, I'm going to go into mania. If she dies, I'm going to go into mania. And I didn't. So I was pretty proud of, I mean, I can't say I'm proud of myself, because this is not I don't really have too much control over whether I go manic or not, but I was happy that nothing that severe happened, that I was able to deal with the grief and the emotions on my own, with the help of medication. But when I talked to my psychiatrist, I talked to her about, you know, wanting to go off Geodon, because I drink a lot of coffee, and that does not go well with Geodon. I was getting insane heartburn, and my Lamictal will already make me feel nauseous if I don't eat in the morning, and I take the Lamictal in the morning and I don't eat, then I'll feel nauseous. So I had wanted to go off the Geodon. So I told my doctor, you know, I think I'm okay, and I really want to go off this Geodon. Do I still have to keep taking it? And she said, no, you want to go off it. That's fine. She said, because I told her, well, I heard it's not good that you take antipsychotics long term. And she's like, well, not this one. She's like, this one doesn't, there's no no risk like that with this one, and you're on such a low dose that it wouldn't affect you anyway. So you basically said, okay, you can go off it. She said, I'm going to write you out the prescription though, and you can fill it. She goes, in case you need it. And I was like, okay. And she goes, but watch the irritability. So I've been watching the irritability, and it got a lot worse. So I'll talk about that in the next video. I tried to make an all-encompassing video, but it became a little bit difficult. But I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm dealing with the grief. I went back on Geodon because I had some huge blow up, and I think I'm hanging in there, I should say. I'm hanging in there, and I'm, you know, doing what I'm supposed to do. I don't have a counselor right now, which I probably should. But I've been in so much therapy, you guys. Sometimes you just get burnout, and sometimes you need a break. And so that's where I've been at with therapy. And I do, when I have severe issues, I'll go to outpatient, which is, I have a really good outpatient program, which is I can go to either 5 days a week or 3 days a week from like 9 to 2. Where there's group counseling, which I find beneficial. So when things get really rough, I go there. So I do have something like that. But yeah, that's where I've been. That's where I've been emotionally. That's kind of what happened. It was really. I'm gonna miss her a lot. Anyway, I'm good otherwise, and so I really appreciate you guys watching this video. Sorry I get choked up so much. If you've been watching me for a while, you know how emotional I am. Bipolar people feel things more deeply than most people, so yeah, so I'm blaming my crying on that. But yes, thank you for watching. I'm going to talk to you guys in the next video about feeling like a burden. In this particular situation, I did kind of feel like, I don't want to say I felt like a burden. I felt like, in the terms of someone saying, in the terms of one of the family members saying, are you okay? Do you have someone to talk to? I did feel kind of put in my own little box. But again, it came from a place of caring. So it was really, it was a very caring thing to say. And, but yeah, it's just, that's really all I have for you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has been helpful. I'm looking forward to making the next video, which I'm going to do right now because I tried to make them all together. It didn't work out. So check out the next video when it's posted, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you. Bye.